Hi everybody. Today I wanted to share with you some techniques to help reduce stress and anxiety. I think everybody's anxiety and worry levels are a little bit higher than they normally would be. I've spoken to lots of people that I've worked with, friends, family, that are experiencing heightened levels of stress, just with the uncertainty and not knowing what's going on really. And just worrying about things that are yet to happen, which us humans sometimes like to do. Those of you that have worked with me or been on one of my workshops will know that I use several different therapies. And the main ones that I would use during a session or in a workshop are EFT, which is also known as tapping. Some of you may have heard it as tapping. And I also use a therapy called havening, which I love. It's a really nice, gentle therapy. It's like giving yourself a hug, which we need at this moment when we're all being told to keep a distance, socially distance ourselves. And we are social creatures, so it's nice to give yourself a little hug if you can't give other people hugs. The techniques that I'm going to show you today, as well as lowering your cortisol levels, which will be elevated if you're feeling stressed, they will give you a little boost of your immune system, and they also aid the production of serotonin and oxytocin. So serotonin is a nice happy hormone that energises us and makes us feel good, and then oxytocin is a lovely hormone that we release mainly with human contact, which is why it's a nice thing to do when we're not supposed to be having much contact. So I'm going to start with something called hopeful havening. And I'd encourage you to do this in the morning. It's going to give you a little serotonin and oxytocin boost, and it's also going to help strengthen your emotional landscape and just make you feel a little bit more positive about everything that's going on. You can think about anything you want to whilst you're doing this, or you can even add something else on after hopeful, but we'll just go with the basic hopeful havening for you. So havening touch, there's 3 of them. One is this, arms, palms of the hands, and then on our faces, on our cheeks there, like that. The one we're going to go with today is a double whammy of arms and hands, where you follow through. So all you need to do is just put your hands like that on your shoulders. Just take a nice deep breath in through the nose for the count of 7, and out through the nose for the count of 11. Out through the mouth for the count of 11. So we're going to go in and out. Now when you're doing this, I want you to do that 3 times for me. But right now we're just going to go into the hopeful havening. So you just rub down, apply a little bit of pressure so you can feel it. And as you rub down, and then you go over the palms of your hands, you're just going to say, hopeful. Hopeful. And you're just going to keep doing that for about a minute. Now, for me, I tend to do it when I get in the shower in the morning because it's the only time, having 2 little ones, that I get any peace and quiet. So, and it also serves as a reminder for me. I know as I get in the shower, that's also my reminder, a minute of hopeful havening. So I'd encourage you to do that in the morning, wherever you can, fit it in. Just for 1 minute, that's all it is. Just to give you those nice boosts and to just help strengthen your emotional landscape. I'm not going to go into a full round of tapping on here just for the sake of time for you people, because I'm sure you're all busy. But what we're going to do is a few relaxation techniques using EFT that you can use just to give yourself a little serotonin boost and just to lower those cortisol and stress hormone levels. So one of my favourite techniques for reducing anxiety is the collarbone tap whilst doing 7-11 breathing. Now you try tapping, breathing and counting and worrying at the same time. It's pretty impossible. To be worried and to be stressed and to feel anxious, we have to have the thought and we have to have the sound, so that's usually your inner voice working yourself up. So this just interrupts that. So you can do this as many times a day as you choose, as and when you need it. I would recommend doing it regularly anyway if you're feeling particularly anxious or stressed. But it's a really good pattern interrupter for when our thoughts and worries are running away with us and we're getting ourselves a bit worked up by them. So at the beginning of the collarbone here, I'm just going to tap there. You'll kind of hear a bit of an echoey thud as you do. You know you've got the right spot. And whilst you're doing that, we're just going to do the 7-11 breathing. So we're going to go in through the nose for the count of 7, and then out through the mouth for the count of 11. Now that's just calming down your nervous system as you do it. We're going to do it 3 times. So in. The important thing here is that you're breathing out for longer than you're breathing in, but the counting will help and serve as a distraction as well. That's why I encourage you to do the 7-11 count. The other thing it's important to notice is where you're breathing from. When we're feeling stressed and anxious, we tend to breathe from here in quite shallow breaths. So you want to be breathing into your tummy and holding your power there. So just notice where you're breathing into. And if you're not breathing into your tummy, then make the effort to do that, because that will really help to calm you down. The other thing that I think really helps in times of uncertainty and times of worry, and I think it's the most powerful tool for change, I bang on about it all of the time, is gratitude. It can be so easy to spiral down into worry and stress and why is this happening? This isn't fair. Whereas when we practice gratitude, it just helps us focus on what's good, what's great, what we have to feel thankful for. And the best way that I know to do that is to write it down. I think it's really great to do just before you go to bed. Rather than going to bed worrying and stressed, you can go to bed thinking about the things that you're thankful for and go to bed feeling good rather than stressed and worried and waking up at 3 a.m, tossing and turning and worrying about all the things that you need to do or what's going on. So I would go out and buy yourself really, if you can go out, obviously. If not, then just find something to write down at home. But if you can go out, treat yourself to a really beautiful journal, something that really resonates with you. The works are fantastic for kind of like little A5 notebooks. They're only £2 and they're just plain lined notebooks. But you can make something like that your gratitude journal. They do them in all different styles and patterns with different words on, so whatever resonates with you. Grab yourself one of those, and then every evening before you go to sleep, I would like you to write down 5 things that you're grateful for. And make one of them about you. Make one about how fantastic you are in dealing with all of this and whatever it wants to be. But I'd like one of those things to be about you. Let's have a little bit of self-care and self-love here and self-appreciation. So 5 things in total. There can be more if you want, but a minimum of 5, and one of them has to be about you. And you can start with really basic things. I'm really grateful I have a roof over my head. Whatever it is, you can be grateful that the sun's shining on the rare occasions it does at the moment. Anything. I mean, for me, I when I do this, I always have a couple of things that are on my list. Mine's not 5, mine kind of goes up to about 20 now because I've been doing it for so long, sometimes more. But I have staples on there that I'm grateful for the health and happiness of my boys, and grateful for family. You can have the same thing on every day. It doesn't, you know, there's going to be things you are grateful for continuously, but try and mix it up a little bit and just notice during your day one thing that stands out for you that's a positive. I've said this before, but it takes the average person, so not a stressed, worked up, anxious person. This is the average person that's just quite happily plodding along through life. It takes the average person sorry, something just flashed on my screen and distracted me. It takes the average person 3 positives to outweigh 1 negative. So practicing gratitude just helps shift that balance. We do learn from the negative. That's just how we're programmed. So, make the effort to focus on the positive and focus on what you're grateful for. And again, you'll be releasing beautiful, happy hormones as well as you recognise the things that you're thankful for. As always, if you have any questions, just pop them in the comments below and I'll happily answer them. It's just a really quick look at Havening and EFT and the things you can do with it. There's loads on the internet about EFT. And at some point I will pop on and do a full routine, but I just wanted to give you some helpful tips that you can use quickly rather than a big old long round of tapping. Just some really quick and easy techniques that you can do. But just to reiterate, if you do the hopeful havening in the morning and end the day with the gratitude and use the collarbone tapping and the breathing as and when you need it, just to help calm your nervous system, that will help you greatly. Okay, thank you for listening. Take care. Bye.